What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Waiver Wire ads and streaming. Looking ahead at week 8 already. Kind of recapping week 7 here. It was a pretty high scoring week. Tons of garbage time points if you're looking at Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers, Brian Hoyer. Some big garbage time points because they had awful first halves. Crazy week. You had a lot of high scoring games. You had the Raiders come through. Redskins and Bucks both put up points. Falcons disappointing week. Stephon Diggs kept it going with a touchdown, found the end zone there in Minnesota. Peterson put up an okay week despite his little tobacco incident on the plane there. But it was a fun week 7, and definitely some stuff happened that we need to look forward at with week 8. And we're taking a look at Arian Foster. Went down with an Achilles injury late in the game, didn't even really need to be in the game. Very disappointing for you, those who held out on him and drafted him at the late rounds there and held on to his way because he was looking pretty good before going down, and it was a pretty brutal injury if you didn't see it. Alfred Blue's going to step into the picture here, mixed in with some Chris Polk. Blue's still low owned. Blue's not a guy who's blowing things out of the water when coming in, but for a volume play, he is going to get some attempts. Not a pass catcher, which hurts his value just a little bit because I believe Houston's going to be throwing the ball a ton. He's rushed on 3.9 yards per carry, 234 yards on a touchdown this season. For just a volume aspect of the game, he's going to get his looks. So he definitely needs to be on going forward now. And I'll talk about him in a little bit because he does have a nice juicy matchup against Tennessee. But the other waiver wire ad for this week, Eric Ebron, 23% Yahoo, 25 CBS, 27% ESPN, so he is out there. The Lions running game is not there. It's completely lost, meaning Matthew Stafford's throwing the ball a ton, just airing it out. And Eric Ebron, when he has been healthy, has benefited from this. 20 receptions in 5 games. 3 touchdowns in that span. This guy can stretch the field. We saw that against Minnesota this week when he went 5 for 89 and a score. Getting constantly looked at by Stafford. The targets are there. I think he's a great addition to your bench if you have maybe a guy like Kelsey or one of those other top 10s, Gronkowski, where obviously Gronk is matchup proof, but maybe Kelsey or so. You can rotate in and out depending on the matchup, because moving forward he does have a middle of the road matchup with strength of schedule for tight ends, so not great but not bad either. Week 8 streaming options. Quarterback, looking at Joe Flacco. I'm not saying this because the Raiders just dropped 37 points on them, but the Chargers have one of the worst defenses I have seen in a long time, one of the worst defenses in the league. They're allowing 28 points per game. No wonder Rivers has to throw the ball a ton, although the running game isn't working well either. But they rank in the middle of the road against passing yards allowed. Flacco's options are limited. He's got Kamar Aiken, Steve Smith picking up a lot of the slack there, also for set in the backfield, starting to catch some balls there. It should be a big day on both sides of this game from the passing attack because both secondaries are truly awful. Flacco, safe bet. I expect him and Steve Smith to have a monster day. San Diego ranks 21st in points allowed to opposing teams' wide receiver ones. If Flacco is taken in your league, because looking at the ownership, 61% Yahoo, 80% CBS, 49% ESPN, he's likely taken in some leagues. Look Ryan Fitzpatrick's way. He plays Oakland this week. And Fitzpatrick's been a safe play. He can hover around 250 and has 2 touchdowns, 3 upside if Brandon Marshall can hang on to the ball. Week 8 stream for running backs. Alfred Blue going to face Tennessee this week. They rank dead last in rushing defense. If you're in need of a bye week or something, or just looking to capitalize on some Alfred Blue time, maybe looking to flip them after a nice week, go ahead and grab them for at least a streaming option, if not for the rest of the season. Wide receivers, Ruben Randall. This Giants-Saints game should be a shootout from both sides. Vegas certainly believes so already. Both defenses are very suspect, especially the New Orleans secondary. They rank dead last in passing defense, and they rank 16th in points allowed to wide receiver 2s opposing. Randall carries a higher upside than usual this week, as long as the Giants can protect Eli long enough for him to throw. They couldn't certainly get anything going against Dallas this week, which was disappointing. Also, take a look at Kamar Aiken getting a juicy matchup against San Diego as well. Looking at tight ends staying in the Giants-Saints game, Benjamin Watson, a bit higher owned after his big monster outing against Atlanta, but he faced Indy. Indy's a good team against tight ends. Unfortunately, it's the only position they can guard well, allowing everyone else to just destroy them. But New York Giants ranked 20th against opposing tight ends. Breeze has been airing the ball out lately, despite so much success on the ground. There's a lot to go around in the Saints offense still. It's just a matter of finding the production in the passing game. Who's going to be on the other end? And I believe that's going to be Watson this week against the Giants. So look for him. Good red zone target. Um, Breeze is certainly looking his way with the other struggling wideouts not doing their share. So if he's taken, because he is hovering around 45% around the sites, Eric Ebron, low-owned guy, so definitely take a look there. Defenses this week, it's pretty bad week to stream defenses. And I was looking at Houston going up against Tennessee. Mariota's supposed to be back, but could be another Mettenberger week. Um, Tennessee, the run game is absolutely not there at all. It's horrible, so that puts them pretty in a one-dimensional spot, which Houston can capitalize on. They still have playmaking potential, but they're still heavily owned despite, not being that great of a defense this season. So Houston, an honorable mention, but Kansas City, another team to look at. They're in London, for one thing, and they're facing a Lions offense that just really isn't that great. They're another one-dimensional team. And KC is a top 10 defense in holding wide receiver ones. They're ninth. They got a ninth ranked rushing defense, and Detroit is not a great running team, so you can take that off the board there. Kansas City also can get after the quarterback. The Detroit Lions offensive line is average at best. And Stafford's turnover prone. So I think, you hold Calvin Johnson in check. You got some upside there in the secondary. They can definitely make things happen. The playmaking guy Nile Davis returning kicks. So I do like them for a streaming. I think they got some upside this week, especially being in London. You got the travel, all that. I think the Chiefs are definitely worth a look. That's going to wrap it up here for Week 8, and should be an interesting